Good morning, Colonel Bai.
It's Monday, May 25th.
I'm Tessa.
And I'm Maddie.
And here are your morning announcements. Get pumped for this year's Oscars, Cougars. We're now on to the second round of voting after receiving over 600 votes. The first section is open to junior students in grades 9 and 10. If you're in grades 11 or 12, skip the first page and head to the second one so you can vote for your fellow upperclassmen.
Click the link on the CB homepage to get your votes in. Voting closes Friday, May 29th at midnight. Speaking of the Oscars, let's go check out an ad about that.
Me? Future TikToker? I didn't expect this. I don't know what to do. I can't accept. Okay, if you insist. Thank you. That smile? No way! I'm so glad you guys like it. I'd like to thank everyone. I'd like to thank my fellow students, the teachers, the janitorial staff, my friends, my cats, my friends' pets. Just everyone who's made this smile so big. And look, I can even do this. Anyways, thank you. Dynamic duo? No way! We barely know each other. Fine. We'll take the award. Thank you.
Be sure to get your votes in.
Do you want to run a club next school year? Club registration is now up. Check ManageBack for more details. If you have any questions, please contact any of the emails below. The deadline for registration is June 15th.
During tough times like these, we often look to our leaders for guidance. Let's go see what Mayor Watson had to say.
Ian and I are here with Mayor Jim Watson. Thanks for joining us today, Mayor Watson.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Today, we're going to talk about how his life and job have changed during the COVID-19 pandemic.
So let's get started. First of all, can you tell us about how your role as mayor has changed due to the pandemic?
Well, we have a lot more conference calls and Zoom calls like this, as opposed to, people in a room meeting. So yesterday we had our city council meeting and it was all done by people phoning in. So it loses some of the effect, I think, when you have that kind of an environment. So from a technical point of view, there's not as much contact with the public, which I regret.
So how does this compare to previous challenges you faced as a mayor, such as the floods in the past?
Well, it's a lot different because you just don't know when it's going to end. That's the problem with the pandemic. There's no, start and finish date. Whereas with flooding, you have a pretty good idea that the flooding is going to come. And then you have a pretty good idea and a rough range as to when it's going to recede and not cause any problems. It's the same, before you were even born, we had this big ice storm back in 1992, I think, or 91. And it was, it was horrific, thousands of trees were lost because they fell over with the weight of the ice. And I was mayor back then. And, it did have a beginning, a middle, and an end because, once the rain, the ice storm stopped, trees started to, the ice started to melt. But with the pandemic, no one in the world knows when it's going to be stopped and whether a vaccine will be found to eliminate it entirely.
So how do you stay involved with the community at a time when attending public events isn't possible?
Yeah, it's really tough. We're having, for instance, this afternoon, a virtual town hall meeting where people can call in and ask questions and get advice from our medical officer of health, our chief of police, myself, and the city manager.
And last of all, do you have anything you'd like to say to the staff and students of Colonel Bai during these difficult times?
Yeah, just, I've always been a big fan of Colonel Bai. It's a great school, great academic activities, great philanthropy. A lot of the events I assume are going to be canceled, like the Relay for Life that is always a big part of your school. So, and wish all of the students and the staff the very best during some really difficult times. And hopefully we'll get a chance to visit Colonel Bai sometime in the new academic year to say hello in person.
So I think that's about it. Thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you so much for everything that you're doing for Ottawa.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Take care.
A big thank you to Mayor Jim Watson for joining us.
Summer school registration for OCDSB summer e-learning courses is now available. In-class or face-to-face summer school will not be offered this year. If you're interested in registering for the e-learning courses offered this summer, find the form on the CB homepage under School News.
Registration closes June 12th. This summer, many new courses will be available, including the ones listed below. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact your guidance counselor.
We all appreciate our frontline workers during this pandemic. Let's check in with some of CB's frontline workers and see how they're doing.
Hi, my name is Abby Reed, and throughout this pandemic, I've been working at Shoppers Drug Mart.
My name is Rosie Lipton, and I've been working at Loblaws during this pandemic.
My name is Zion, and I've been working at Loblaws during this pandemic.
There have been a lot of changes since the beginning in March. We now have hand sanitizer at the front when you walk in, and you'll see on the floor there are little arrows showing you which direction to walk in so you never bump into anyone.
Since the beginning of the pandemic, Loblaws has reduced its hours of opening, reduced the amount of customers allowed in the store at any given time, as well as established some protective measures in order to keep our cashiers safe.
My workplace has changed a lot since the beginning of the pandemic, whether it be our reduced store hours, which allows us more time to clean and sanitize our stores, but also more and more customers are starting to use our curbside pickup, which is BC Express.
A lot of people have been really understanding with the new restrictions and regulations that we have. Sure, you have some people who get overly anxious and upset because we only have one way out, so someone has to walk by them. After picking up a prescription, they kind of get a little anxious, but people deal with stress in a lot of different ways, so it's understandable.
Our store has put out a lot of rules and regulations to really emphasize on the social distancing to make it a safer place for customers to shop at.
Most customers have been very respectful of the regulations we've set in place in order to enforce social distancing in our grocery store.
For me, I think the most stressful part of working is just worrying about everyone else. I know I'm doing what I can to be safe, but I always wonder how people are doing what they can do to be safe. And I know I can't control everyone and force people to wear masks and gloves, but seeing all of the elderly people or more at-risk people really makes me worry about that.
I think one of the most stressful things about working during these times is definitely a concern surrounding my health and the health of everyone around me, but also trying to balance both school and work, which has been really tough for me.
The most stressful thing about working during the pandemic is being able to balance work and school. For example, for a little while I was working 40 hours every week, and that was very hard to juggle along with all the schoolwork and assignments that I was being assigned by my teachers as well.
My favorite part is when people tell me that they're picking up groceries for their friends or their family and neighbors, because it really shows how the community is coming together in this time of need.
I think my favorite part about working during this pandemic is seeing how well our community has adapted to this situation by following all the rules and regulations that have been set for the most part.
The thing I appreciate the most about working is probably all the coworkers I get to work with, because even though we're going through a very stressful and confusing time, I know that my coworkers are there to just support everyone who's working right now, and it's really great, and it's a really great environment. Additionally, I really appreciate all the customers, because the customers have been super appreciative of everything that we've been doing for them.
My final thing I'd like to say to everyone is hopefully you're being safe and stay safe, but if you're going to a grocery store or you're driving through a drive-thru, just say thank you to any essential worker you see, because it's really nice to be appreciated.
Lastly, I just want to remind everyone to stay home and to stay safe. Oftentimes I'll see entire families at the grocery store or just a bunch of kids running around. Like, grocery stores are not a place to meet up with your friends. If you're gonna go grocery shopping, only send 1 or 2 people out. Stay safe, CB.
And for everyone at CB, I hope you all are staying safe. Take care. Bye.
Thank you for all that you do for our communities.
A reminder to all students to check their email, ManageBack, and Google Classroom regularly. And if you have any questions or concerns, please email your teachers or guidance counselors.
That's all from us today, CB.
Have a magnetic Monday.